Particularly, we're going to start off with Starling Marte's drop last night, because the conversation that has followed that is oozing with myths, with things that don't actually exist in baseball as we know it. And we're going to start it off by taking your calls on this topic. That's at 412-320-7925. Here's Skip in Mount Lebanon. Skip, how are you today?
Well, good, Dejan. How you doing?
Good, thanks. What's on your mind regarding Marte's catch?
I'm a glass half full guy. I'm thinking what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and I'm hoping this kind of galvanizes a team. That might be overly optimistic, but there's so much baseball left to be played. This guy has a world of ability. I didn't see any nonchalance or anything like that. I just think it's one of those things that happens during a season. So I'm trying to look at it. Maybe this is a point where they say, hey, let's just take a deep breath and let's go out and win some more games.
Well, I like that point, Skip. I think that looking at Marte and what he's done over his career, he's been a confident young man. I'm really glad you brought up about no nonchalance. That's the one that gets. If you've been watching Starling Marte, and I'm not just talking about this season or bandwagoners who've come on board. I'm talking about people who have paid attention to him throughout his minor league career, once he got to Indianapolis, and even when he came up with Pittsburgh last summer. This is a kid who just goes all out. He is a full-bore player. There is no nonchalance in this kid's game. None. Let's go to Matt in Newcastle. Matt, how are you?
Hey, Dan.
All right.
My question, I guess, was, I'm hearing from a bunch of commenters on blogs today that, had he made a two-handed catch with that ball last night, it wouldn't have happened. And my thought is that's probably overcomplicating the issue. I mean, he just missed the ball. I mean, isn't that the true issue? He just made a mistake, a bad one at a bad time. I mean, are we overcomplicating the issue by saying, well, maybe he should have caught it this way,
Well, Matt, let me ask you this. What if me and you, I have my wallet right here, me and you, if we pulled together all of our cash, whatever we happen to have in our wallets right now, and I know I'm putting you on a spot, and we put out a reward for anybody who could find in Major League Baseball tonight, out of all 15 games being played, one two-handed catch by an outfielder. Do you think we'd still have our cash tomorrow?
Absolutely. And I think later on in the game, McCutchen, whenever he joked with Marte making that catch, he called him off all the way from across center field and made the catch. He did it one-handed as well. It was the same hand and everything. It's just one hand. He made the catch, So.
Well, Matt, I appreciate the call. There are no two-handed catches by outfielders in Major League Baseball. They don't exist. You don't see them in AAA. You don't see them in AA. You don't see them in Single A. You don't see them in rookie ball. You don't make two-handed catches in the outfield. This is something that you teach your kids in Little League because the ball is big and the glove is small. That's all there is to it. This is a complete myth. And I mean, my Twitter account is being flooded by people talking about two-handed catches as if they have seen one recently. Who makes them? Do you see them on the infield? Do you see them on pop-ups? You'll see a catcher hold his other hand behind the catcher's mitt because a catcher's mitt isn't really designed to be making those kinds of catches. You will see a catcher throw his second hand into the equation. You will not see an outfielder make a two-handed catch, or Matt from Newcastle and I are going to give you everything in our wallets, even though Matt didn't necessarily agree to that. Daryl in California, you're on.
Let me just say, I want to defend Marte. Things happen. We know that was a fluke. It's not who he is. He's an above-average outfielder. What I don't like about what happened with Marte is he went up to the plate and basically gave his at-bat away. You could just see it was on his mind. In regard to Kutch, what I find more appalling is that Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson, Joe Morgan, all the great runners in this game of baseball would have ran home as if the cops were chasing them. And it bothers me that Kutch didn't do that. He doesn't use his speed to take to the next level, and that's what's scaring me. The game should have been over. We won it twice. We didn't. And one more thing. Why do all other hitters and teams seem like they have bat control savvy? They know how to grip the bat for the situation. Alan Craig, for instance, beautiful at bat, but ours doesn't. Bob Walk was praising Josh Harrison, and he politely comes up there if he's swinging a golf club and nothing was at stake to ground into the double play. So I'm asking you, I don't know, DK. Is it Jay Bell? Is it our hitters? But as a Pirate fan, we are right where we need to be in regard to the sky is falling because things happen and beat us down for so long. I'm nervous.
Oh, Daryl, I can hear your nervousness is coming through all the way from the other coast. I can feel you, my man. You're coming in all capital letters. Okay? I get it. Everybody's nervous, and there was last night a lot of blame to go around. It wasn't just Marte's drop. There's been not nearly enough scrutiny today, I don't think, at least not based on the feedback I'm getting, on McCutchen not breaking and scoring on that play from third base. That had to happen. You're right, McCutchen does need to be more aggressive in his thinking. He had a chance to steal a base earlier in that game and never really got a good lead off. He's been better at that, but there were other factors in this game. It wasn't just the Marte drop. Steve in Omaha, you're on. That's Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, it's great out here. It's except for last night when I was getting ready to shut the lights off and go to bed and watch the ball fall out of Marte's glove.
Okay, so you're going to blame him, right?
I'm not going to. No, it was a routine thing. I was shutting the lights off after that was going to be out too, and he just didn't catch it. It wasn't like you had said earlier. It wasn't hot dogging or showboating, but it made me think of something. How long the Pittsburgh Pirates or anybody in Major League Baseball has not been using two hands? Do you remember sometime in the early 80s, there was a Pirates commercial, and it was Bill Robinson or Johnny Ray, I forget who, yelling at Dave Parker saying, "Hey, hot dog, use two hands." I mean, the Pirates used that as a marketing promotion in the early 80s.
And do you remember how Parker used to catch the ball? Parker didn't just one-hand it. He would one-hand it with a snap downward. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was hot dog.
But I mean, the point that anybody's saying today that if he would have used two hands, well, I have a little leaguer that's 9 years old. I don't think they're teaching them to use two hands.
No.
I mean, that's just not how the game is played any longer. And if they would wear leather helmets in football, they probably wouldn't lead with their head either. But that's not how that game is played either. I just thought the talk about it today has been interesting. If he used two hands, that's a big if.
No question. Steve, thanks for the call, as well as to Daryl and Matt and Skip. Look, this isn't all that complicated. The Pirates lost a baseball game last night. They lost a baseball game because Starling Marte dropped a ball. He did not put his glove around it. If you watch even the super slow-mo of it, Marte he sizes it up. He's looking at it. He doesn't begin to do something else with his body, which is what you'll usually see when an outfielder drops a routine fly. He's waiting for it. He's watching it into the glove. It just didn't go in. There's nothing else to it. There's no, nonchalance. There's no, this is the way it should have been. This is the way it was in the 1950s when everybody two-handed all their catches and the gloves were half the size of the gloves that they're using now. All that happened was he dropped the ball. A lot of Pirates dropped the ball.